that game was probably a great game for the NFL as far as a showcase for the game and competition. Because you had outstanding quarterback play, you had some very talented people out there playing. You certainly had one of the most expensive players in the history of the NFL out there playing. And so I guess everybody was going to take a look tonight and decide, is he worth all that?
All in all, the emotions for me, being in Dallas went away the moment they traded me. I think, I even told D.Y., I said, understanding, the people that you're around. Like when Goody told me that he was trading for me, he said, let me call Kenny before it breaks. The importance of the organization and that. Like, I didn't even get to talk to my owner, the person that drafted me. I found out through my agent. Like, I just feel like, so to me, that emotion side was pointless because the same way he called me in his office as a man, he couldn't tell me as a man. So to me, that emotion side was gone. It was more about a respect factor at this point.
Plenty of emotions on both sides as we're now joined by CBS Sports Cowboys writer Garrett Podell, and a reunion of sorts, so dramatic that it took extra time to sort things out. But when I say sort out, I mean for the first time since the 2022 season, we got ourselves a tie as no winner was determined Sunday night between the Packers and Cowboys. But Garrett, ties always feel a little strange in the NFL. What was the mood like in the Cowboys locker room after this one? Did it feel more like a win that they let slip away or a loss that they maybe avoided?
Hey, Keiana, great to join you here from AT&T Stadium. And I would probably say the latter, that it was more glass half full vibes here from the Cowboys after the game. When speaking to Dak Prescott at his press conference, he said, a win sure is better or a tie is sure is better than a loss. And I think, there's a lot of positives for them to take away. You have George Pickens, who goes for over 100 and multiple touchdowns. And there was a lot of questions of what's it going to look like with CeeDee Lamb not out there. And Dak said, this is what we expect of George. This is the trust that we worked up in training camp and in practice. And George Pickens, even though obviously wasn't happy that there wasn't a win tonight, he was certainly smiling when talking about, I've always told Dak that I'll be there for him and all he needs to do is throw it up for me. And that's exactly the way he played tonight. He had that great catch in double coverage down the left sideline to really get the Cowboys down in position to score. And then, of course, his broken tackle of Carrington Valentine that he then just waltzed into the end zone. So I think there's a lot of takeaways positively from here. Pickens, and just the way the Cowboys' offensive line held up, right? Micah Parsons didn't get a sack until the second and goal play in overtime, and it was for no yards lost. So I think offensively there's a lot of positive vibes. Defensively, Kenny Clark, the new Cowboy, former Packer, said, there's a lot of miscommunication, lots of details we need to clean up.
Well, we did get to see some of those heroics from Dak Prescott, namely that 62-second, 50-yard drive there at the end of regulation, as well as, we got to talk about that beauty of a pass and even better catch that we saw from Jalen Tolbert. But he did this with no CeeDee Lamb, as you mentioned in the lineup. What did you take away from Dak's performance Sunday night?
I took away that Dak Prescott is playing perhaps some of the best football of his career. I asked Dak, a lot of Cowboys fans refer back to 2020 when he's putting up video game numbers before he then broke his ankle against the New York Giants early in the season as your best kind of start to the season. Is this the best you're playing? And he said, I don't want to compare anything to 2020, but he said the comfort he's in year 10 and just the comfort he has in Brian Schottenheimer's offense, he feels like he's playing some of his best ball. And I think we really saw that tonight because, like you said, anytime Jordan Love marched the Packers down the field for a touchdown, Dak was able to match or at least get a field goal like he did in overtime to give Dallas a chance to win before Green Bay was able to tie it at the end of the OT buzzer. So I think for Dallas, they feel like Dak Prescott is, as Jerry said, quote, indispensable, and they're ride or die with him. And just this time last year, he was rehabbing from a torn hamstring. No ill effects from that, as we saw tonight.
Absolutely. Saw no remnants of that on Sunday night. But Garrett, I got to talk about the elephant in the room because there was a lot of talk surrounding Micah Parsons' return to Dallas after that trade a few weeks back. I want to get your reaction to Parsons' return as well as those comments that we just heard from him moments ago.
Well, Keiana, earlier in the week, Dak said, we're going to send tight ends, extra blockers, running backs. We're going to chip them. There's going to be a wall between myself and Micah Parsons. And that really played out almost every time. It seemed like Micah was coming to rush the passer. You could see the double teams, were there. There were a couple times where Parsons was able to get in Dak's face, and he did drag him down from behind for the no yards lost on the 2nd and goal play. But really, the Cowboys came away happy with how they defended Micah Parsons in the pass rush, or blocked him up. And there's no hard feelings between Parsons and the players. I mean, he did a jersey swap with Trayvon Diggs, and I spoke to Diggs after the game, and he said it was great to see my brother, someone I haven't seen since the trade. And yeah, Dak said, this is somebody who I really had a lot of fun competing against. And even when Micah would get close to sacking Dak, he said they exchanged laughs, and that was a great play, man. So there's no ill will in the locker room between Micah Parsons and his old teammates. Now, Jerry saying Micah isn't as indispensable as Dak, which is why we didn't pay him. And then what we heard Micah say off the top about, well, Jerry never called me in the same way Brian Gutekunst called Kenny Clark. There might be some ill will there, but not in the locker room for Micah Parsons.
Definitely not. Like you mentioned, seeing that jersey swap, even the joking between Dak and Micah when it came to that sack on the night. He says he doesn't mind going against him. I guess it's a lot different this time around when you're wearing different jerseys. As always, Garrett Podell, we appreciate the insight. Thank you so much. Don't work too hard over there, okay?
Thanks for having me, Keiana. I'll do my best.
Well, he will be working a little harder as we take a look at the Cowboys' upcoming schedule. I mean, some winnable games on the docket next week, playing the Jets out at MetLife Stadium, followed by another road game taking on the Panthers. Then you've got that divisional match against the Commanders, their first meeting of the season in Week 8. We've got one of the best pass rushes in the league in the Broncos. How will the Cowboys fare? Yet to be determined.